Hello Scorpio, this is a timeless reading for you. I'm using my own cards, my black and white duality tarot deck. And first I thought oh, Scorpio has a bit of negative cards there, but I didn't have this bad feeling. And as I laid out the cards, I actually felt quite uplifted. The first card I pulled for you is good. Then comes loss, no, stagnation. Like these three are not a very nice combination, but then we have earth and fertility. So in my mind, logically, I thought like loss, no, and stagnation is not a nice energy to be in, but sometimes that's what or how life is. Sometimes we are just stuck in something that is unpleasant for us, but yet I felt in my intuition that that's actually not really what this is about. And we were starting the whole reading with the good card. And I feel like it could be that for some of you there is some kind of a realization about such a phase in life that you once were in, or you could have recently ended, or you can feel that the end is near. You are seeing the first signs, you are seeing some kind of improvement. And I'm not saying this like to soothe you or, because I want this reading, I want to force this reading to be positive. No, I sincerely feel that. Like there is some inner peace about a certain loss that you experienced. Maybe some of you recently, maybe for others, it's something that happened not so recently, but sometimes we are struggling with a loss for a much longer time. But it seems like you are realizing something about it, or you have already realized this until you find this reading. It feels to me as if this no card, I drew this closed door. It's just utterly closed. It's not only locked and closed, it's, what is the English expression? Like it is nailed. It is just utterly closed. It's just, there is no access. And I feel like this is a certain phase of your life that you have no more access to. And I think that you are quite glad about this, because it could be that it was just a very unpleasant phase of your life where you went through a lot of loss. And when I looked at this card, I had often I feel or I interpret this card as this is a kind of door that someone would like to open, because there's something, or there could be something behind this door that is very alluring, it's something that you want. That's how I often see this card, especially with the stagnation. It seems to be some unachievable goal, but in your reading, like it's the utter opposite somehow. It feels like this door was nailed and closed by you, and whatever is behind this door is just like some kind of worthless, empty space. Like you took everything that was of value to you out of this room and then just completely abandoned this room because it was time. And this loss might actually not entirely be your loss. It could also represent someone else's loss. Maybe someone lost you. Maybe someone lost something that you gave to them. Maybe someone used you a little bit, like energetically, or maybe you were very benevolent towards someone and you withdrew that these resources, on whatever level these resources were, if they were some kind of spiritual energy or material resources or emotional support, like it seems that mostly this lost card, it speaks of someone else. And for you, I just feel so relieved when I tap into this reading. And with this stagnation card, I also feel like you are the spider. You are not the fly trapped in the web. Maybe you have tackled someone down. Maybe you saw through someone. Often people also manipulate us in that way that, they use us or exploit us or even abuse us, but then they act nice and they tell us what we want to hear. They apologize and they try so hard to appear genuine, and then we fall for it again, but they just, after a while, they just keep repeating whatever they are doing to us. So it could be either a situation like this, or it could be just someone who newly walked into your life and where there was no such cycle of forgiving and then, being exploited again, but where there was just some kind of new person that you quickly saw through. Someone who tried to build some kind of web of lies, but they ended up trapped themselves. And I feel like you are moving towards this person, maybe not literally physically, but metaphorically, like you're psychologically very deeply into their mind games, like you're seeing through them. You understood sincerely and deeply how their mind works, and somehow turned their tactics of manipulation around. Now they are stuck and somehow defenseless. Now, I'm not saying that you now start to exploit them or abuse them, but you might just hold them accountable for something. See, I'm not seeing any childish mind games or, fighting back and forth. I don't see that on your behalf. It doesn't feel immature. It's just, holding someone accountable for whatever they did. And then we move into this earth and fertility cards. And especially those two together, they go perfectly together. If you want something to be fertile, to grow, you need the earth. The earth also speaks of someone being very grounded. We also can take this card very literal here, in that sense that the element of earth might help you at the moment, or it's just, it could be very useful for you to go for walks, to go into the woods, to whatever kind of landscape or environment you prefer. You can also go to the beach, put your hands into the sand, go barefoot on the beach wherever you live. I know in many parts of the world it's cold right now, but in other parts it's warm throughout the whole year. I wish I would live in such a part of the world. Or if it's just as silly as buying some kind of this cosmetic or healing earth and you put it on your skin, like there is something about earth that is coming out very strongly in a literal sense. Sometimes these more superficial things also come up in my readings as well, like or physical things. And I see it as a metaphor for some deeper spiritual meaning, but at the same time, it just means that Earth could literally be helpful for you in some way at the moment. Maybe there are even these kind of massages where they use some... I once had a massage, it's years ago, where they used some kind of moss. And because I'm very spiritual and I'm very psychic as well, I can also see a lot of, stuff that is invisible to others. So I'm also very sensitive to elements and, these physical things, they often vibrate with a certain energy, with different energies. And this moss massage, I mean, they didn't put literally moss onto my skin, but it was some kind of earthy stuff mixed with some moss. It was like some kind of, is the English word paste? Yeah, some kind of muddy stuff with moss in it. And it felt so good, like spiritually, I could see all the energy and feel all what it was doing. It was so helpful to me. So maybe this is something that could help you at the moment, because there is so much earth in here. Or, just because in the fertility card, fertility doesn't only come with earth, we also need sun and water. So it could just mean you could just go for a walk or go hiking in the forest when it rains a little bit. And then it's an extra kind of smell, that smell of rain when it loosens up the earth. Like the forest always has a certain smell, but when it rains, the smell changes, and I'm getting something about that as well. Like this could be very healing, even though I don't feel like at the moment that you are very bothered. You are already relieved, but even if we feel okay or good, I mean, why not making it even better? And it could also just mean that, after going through this situation, after tackling this person, seeing through this person, there could be something that you have worked upon that could finally come to fruition, that could, experience a new growth, a new level of growth. And for some of you, maybe something was really entirely stagnant, a project that you worked on or a relationship, and maybe, as soon as this energy is released, it will, there is so much growth and fertility. And I don't feel very strictly that this only applies to one kind of situation like romance or job. It is very open here. It could mean so many different things to different people. It could also just mean that on all levels in life you will soon experience this kind of growth. And we have the maturity card at the bottom of the deck. And those three cards together, they clearly represent to me the metaphorical meaning of this spread as well. Like, you might realize that you have gone through so much inner growth, you have reached such a state of maturity and probably even wisdom during the last months or years, that you were very good at dealing with this situation. And after going through it, you even matured further. For just a few, very few, I'm also getting that maybe you could be some kind of teacher, biology teacher, and find some new, or a biology student. Like, there's something about learning about the earth, learning about nature, and maybe that was stuck as well, or maybe you lost not interest, but some spark of joy that you once had when you started this subject, due to a situation that dragged you down a little bit, but as soon as the situation is solved, or maybe it's a colleague at work who downgraded you a little bit, or with whom you just didn't get along very well, and maybe this person is out of sight now and you can blossom in your job again. Something about that I'm getting as well. Okay, so that's it so far. Now it's going to get a little bit louder. I'm gonna pull some letters and numbers for you. And let's see if that makes any sense to anyone. We have a 2, 3, another 3. Oh, nice number. 3 threes. 5 and 7. So 2, 3, 3, 3, 5, 7. Then we have H, E, X, another X, Z, and another Z. Okay. So I can't form any word out of this or name. Sometimes I'm really... like, this letter pulling is new for me. I just started this in the most recent readings because I found these letters and numbers in one of those super cheap stores. I mean, in Germany it's called a €1 shop, but probably in the United States, for example, it's called a dollar shop. So I found these and I thought maybe I could include them into my readings. But sometimes I can immediately form some words or names, but yeah, sometimes not. So maybe that makes some sense to some of you. We have an HXXZZE. Hex. Is that an English word? In German, it's almost a word, not completely. If we had another E, it would be Hexe, which means witch. Or mage, or jinx. What else? No, I really can't think of any word right here. Maybe you? I don't think so. I think it's really tough with those letters. But maybe, this is just some kind of initials of someone's name. So if you figure any word out, maybe if you want, you can write it into the comment section. So I will leave this reading here. Thank you so much for watching.